in the last week or so, I've had a lot of people asking me about the camera I use on my helmet to get the first person perspective fighting videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over the camera real quick with you on the helmet here and show you kind of how it's built and what it's built for, and maybe you wanna make one for yourself. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here's my helm, here's my SCA helm. And as you can see, yes, it is all fantasy, but it is SCA, right? I don't have a steel fighting helm anymore because I have this nasty habit of, selling them off to friends who are in more need of me. So, as you can see, the housing is mounted just above the eyes. It's made out of 16 gauge square tubing that just was made barely to fit around a GoPro Session camera that I originally had. This is not a GoPro Session camera, but I had a GoPro Session camera, and it was really nice, but it was supposed to be waterproof up to like 60 feet or something, and I was in like 15 feet of water doing some spear fishing, and it died. Unfortunately, GoPro doesn't make them anymore. I would like to get another one, even a renewed one from Amazon, hint, hint, but they just weren't in the budget at the time. So I picked up a Runcam Orange off of Amazon, 100 and something bucks. Works pretty good, not as good as the Session, but it fits the same format, so I could use the same housing. So the camera housing I built out of steel, so that obviously it could take impacts. You can't just put a GoPro mount on your helmet and throw a GoPro on there, because steel swords, rattan swords, whatever, just gonna break it off and destroy your camera, right? So I had to build a housing that not only protected the sides, but protected the face some. So I notched the tubing and I bent it in slightly to kind of cradle the front of the camera. Sometimes put a little bit of padding or tape on the inside to like keep it off of the metal. But in any case, it protects really well from impacts from the side, front, and everything else. It could theoretically get broken if, I took a steel thrust or something to it. I could also set the camera back just a little bit because there's a foam spacer inside there, and put a piece of Lexan or impact resistant Gorilla Glass or something in there. I just haven't really bothered. So the camera is cradled in there, and on the top I punched a hole originally for the GoPro Session, and then for this camera I had to like stretch it out and modify it so that I can turn it on or off and see the on or off indicator button. So I attach it to the helmet through the use of some hinges that I modified. I took some hinges, welded a section onto here, trimmed another section, and created some mounting holes. Right now that I only attach it with the bottom mounting hole because I need to get the angle further down than what it was originally mounted for. So ignore that, but you can create a couple of holes in each side of the hinge and mount it to your helm, with rivets or bolts or whatever. And then I replaced the hinge pin with a clevis pin or whatever they call this, with like the little bearing on the bottom. So to get at the camera, you would just pop either side out, boom. And like I said, this is a little flexible because it's only mounted on one rivet point. But as you can see, this just mounts on the other hinge, kind of like a visor hinge. So it opens up. I remove this piece of foam out of here. I'll just push the camera back, and you can see the camera loads right out. This is the Runcam that I use. I should probably get something new. The little card and everything goes in there. And to load it, I just, again, orient it straight up and down, pop that in there. This piece of foam is shaped so that it fits against the ridge of my helmet and kind of presses the camera forward so it doesn't slide back. And so I custom just cut that up so that it would keep pressure on it and keep it forward. Then you just lock the camera in and pin it back down. It's actually really easy to pull the camera out and in, and I've used it plenty, and it hasn't really, taken any damage, which is good, knock on wood. But so this is the camera setup right here. Like I said, it's 16 gauge steel, square tube. You can, if you get a Runcam, you can do that. Weld some hinges to it, change out the pin with some some removable pins here, and you can mount it on your helm. You're gonna have to modify the angle of it to match whatever helmet profile you have and to bring it down appropriately. Here I'll probably put a little bit more of a spacer in behind here to bring my vision a little lower, because I don't quite like the angle that it's hitting at. But overall, this is the camera and this is the setup here. So let's go ahead and pull this up here. You see that there? That's the mounting setup. But if you want to, try your hand at it to build yourself a helmet cam, it'll help you immensely document your fighting. It would be really great to get some more of these out on the field, not just in the SCA, but in the steel fighting groups and whatever groups, where you can capture really the essence of being in the pit and fighting, and really helps people train and get better and to see themselves and how they actually perform. So that's my helmet camera setup. Like I said, nothing super fancy, just super basic and practical. Maybe I should have built it out of stainless steel because it's a bit rusty, but it is what it is, right? Okay, that's it, and I'm going to see you guys later.